So my name is Maureen Kelly Hardyman, and I'm an account manager with the Leading Edge Group. Today I'm delighted to be speaking with Joe Aherne, founder and CEO of Leading Edge Group, as we reflect on 30 years of innovation, growth, and what lies ahead. So Joe, looking back at the 30 years, what inspired you to start the Leading Edge Group?
Oh, wow, Maureen, that is some question. I think there were a number of influences over the years. I think one was to do with family. I think my father died when he was very young. So my mother was my first boss and mentor. And she motivated me a lot from a business point of view. And her motto always was, there is no such thing that it can't be done. And so she got me in to do accounting. I became a certified public accountant, chartered accountant. And again, that opened my eyes to a lot of different possibilities. And then I suppose what the real catalyst was, I got an opportunity to work in many different companies and sectors, starting in food, going on to US technology companies, going on to work in shipbuilding. Then got an opportunity to go to Saudi Arabia with one of the biggest food companies in the Middle East. And then came back and worked in the airline industry in the UK. So from working in those different environments and from also reading a lot of books, I got a friend of mine, Eddie Graves, who bought me a book from England called Re-Engineering the Corporation. And it was written by Hammer and Champy at the time. That was back in 1993. And that really was, it was kind of a left field book on lean, but it was called BPR, Business Process Re-Engineering. And I got hooked, I must admit. And I got an opportunity to work with a small consulting company, Airlink, by now deceased Dr. Bill Chambers, who was a great mentor, fantastic mentor of mine, and really got me, I suppose, embedded in the whole management consulting field. And worked for him for 2 years. And then I knew what was next, and that was to set up my own business, and especially around business process improvement, business process optimization. So that's how Leading Edge Group was established.
Great. And if you were to look over the 30 years, if you were to pick, now this is probably a difficult one moment or achievement that makes you feel especially proud, what would that be?
It's difficult to just give one moment, Maureen, but I suppose starting off in we'll call it a backwater in Cove, a 4-story building that was overlooking the harbour and Spike Island. That's where I started. And at the stage, it was just me and receptionist, Sinead O'Brien. And we started really, obviously exceptionally small, trying to get business, traveling across Ireland, trying to generate work. Initially, it was in the area of supply chain management. So we started extremely small, and I think we were very much perceived as being, a very small little boutique consulting in Cove. But I think the biggest achievement is where we've got to. And I think working with a company like Pfizer and designing a lean laboratory for a new manufacturing facility in Singapore was a great achievement. And now actually we've worked with the two biggest, we're starting to work with a company called TACWA. They're involved in the power and water and oil and gas sector. They're top 10 Forbes company in the Middle East, 50, 60 billion turnover. And together with the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority in Dubai, obviously, working for two of those organizations, huge organizations, 100 billion plus turnover. I suppose in a way is a crowning achievement to move, as I said, from Cove to working internationally, and I suppose to maintain the same ethos and the same culture and maintaining the same values that we had when we started off. And I think we see that through the consultants and the people that work with us. We very much follow the same principles of looking after the customer. The customer is number one. So that, and obviously having fantastic staff really is I would say our crowning achievement.
So over the last 30 years, there's been huge changes. So how has the Leading Edge Group grown and evolved, to stay ahead of all the changes?
Based on my last point, being small, we've obviously been very nimble. We're not like big corporations or big, large consulting companies that find it hard to move. We're very flexible. And as I said, we have a lot of like-minded people involved, very innovative. So we've been able to watch very closely what's been happening in the marketplace. As you know, we've gone through downward spirals in relation to, first of all, there was the property crash in Ireland, which actually resulted in us saying, never again will we rely just on a local market. Let's get into Canada, let's get into Australia, let's get into the Middle East. So it was a great turning point in a way. And then we had the pandemic again. That created a lot of pressure on us. But again, we developed and continued to design e-learning programs, which proved hugely popular during the pandemic. So I suppose we had many different revenue streams, many different delivery mechanisms for what we do, both from a training and consulting perspective. So we were able to move rapidly, move very rapidly. And then I suppose we started with supply chain management consulting. We moved into the lean space, and we've been in that space since 2000. And then continuously looking at what we offer and how we can integrate our services. And I suppose that's why, and Maureen, we're talking to someone here that's managing this piece of the business for us, which is digital and AI and the sustainability and green agenda. So we've now built capability and expertise in all of these areas. So when a company is looking for a solution, we try to give them as much as possible an integrated solution, which incorporates lean, green, digital, and AI. And I think that's pretty unique, I must admit.
Yeah,
Maureen.
I think that's definitely.
And I think, as you've seen, we've won a lot of work and a lot of kudos for being able to follow new trends and new innovations in the industry. And we're looking at continuing to develop those, not just in Ireland, but obviously across the globe.
So looking ahead, we've done 30 years. So looking ahead at the next chapter for Leading Edge, 10, 20, 30 years, what do you think the future looks like?
Oh my God, Maureen, I wish I was as young as you to be able to answer that question. But I think the most important thing is the brand and the name. God knows who's going to own and manage the Leading Edge group as time goes by. But I think what's important is the brand and the values attached to the brand. As I said, how we deal with our people, how we deal with our consultants, how we deal with our clients. I think it's so important. And it would be fantastic to maintain that ethos going forward in whatever way it takes. But again, it's to keep that brand and name alive. And not just here again in Ireland, but hopefully continually develop it internationally. And as I said, being known for what we are today as the doers in the industry. We were told that at one time from a client, that we're very much practical and we're the doers in the industry, and we're extremely cost competitive, and hopefully the business will continue like that.